Josh, part of the process of, or something that the adoptive parents should be doing with the agency or the attorney is asking questions. How are things being done? I mean, what's the procedure? I want to know the procedure from beginning to end. And what is it that I can expect? I mean, and one of the more important questions is how are you dealing with the biological parents' parental rights? Right. Tell me what the law is. You don't have to be an attorney to understand what the law is. You can ask that question and expect a good answer that you can that can be communicated in a way that you understand. So with that being the case, ask the agency. If the child's coming from another state, what are the laws of that state, and what did you guys do to deal with those laws? I think it's important to be proactive, because if agencies make mistakes, attorneys make mistakes, and you need to know that when your finalization takes place, that nobody can come back and get that undone because someone didn't follow the law.
I think when you're working with an agency, sometimes you can rest on your laurels a little bit, and they say, we're taking care of this, we're taking care of that, and that's nice,
But I'd still follow up with them, because there was one when we went to Kansas and they hadn't gotten birth father's consent, or they hadn't communicated with him, and it was with an agency, so I still would.
And an agency.
Well, no, I was just saying it feels nice to be able to, but that's what you shouldn't. You shouldn't just kind of.
And you shouldn't be doing it with an agency, and you shouldn't be doing it with an attorney either. Yeah. I mean, you've got to know why this child is cleared to be adopted. Right. And I've always kind of equated. Now, this sounds really kind of insensitive, but it's kind of like a home. You wouldn't go buy a home knowing that home had some right of claim against it, some piece of land. You want to know that home's been cleared, ready to be sold. And same thing, this child's cleared, ready to be adopted, that there isn't anybody else's interest there. And you want to know how they've been dealt with.
And that it's been done legally and ethically and all that.
Ethically is a very important part.
Yeah. And just ask a lot of questions. How is this happening? Not just what's happened, but how is it happening?
Especially if the child's coming from another state. And there's the Interstate Compact on the Placement of Children, which we call ICPC. I mean, you got to know what's involved there. What is it that you guys need, and how does that work? And what do you anticipate I'm going to have in the way of time spent in that state until I can bring the child out of that state? I mean, every office in every state seems to do things a little different. Some states are even more difficult than others. And so you might get some background understanding of that. How long do we expect to be there? Because you have still another expense you won't be paying to the agency. You'll be paying to a hotel, food, those kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen time and time again where I'm working with a family who just really doesn't, they're just really relying on somebody else to just take care of some of these things, and they have no idea what ICPC is. They have no idea what is being done about anybody's parental rights, or how it's being done, if it's being done ethically, if it's being done legally. They just don't know, and you really should be asking those questions. You really should know.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, it is nice to have an agency, but if you think that in the end you can just blame them and you'll be okay, you're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, they're not going to go, oh, I'm sorry, your agency screwed up, so you'll keep the child.
They don't do that. And you're going to be having a lot of heartache and a lot of hardship, and it'll be sad for everyone. So it is really important to be proactive in being your own advocate and really covering those bases, even, and not just letting them be the guys at fault for everything.
Yeah.